Welcome to another episode of the Empowerment Podcast with Bishop Charlene M. Jamison. I'm truly excited that you're here today. Your presence matters, your growth matters, and your journey matters. So settle in, get comfortable, and let's chat. This is Bishop Charlene M. Jamison, and I am inviting you to be a part of my Empowerment Podcast each Monday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Now, this is where we learn to live in victory every day. And at such a time as this, we all need to know how to live in victory. Join me on all forms of social media and at hogckd.org. Now let us learn how together. Now let's get into the topic. How to stay productive in a distracted world. I have found that staying productive in a distracted world is not simply a matter of willpower. It is a matter of spiritual alignment, conviction, and intentional obedience to the vision God has placed inside of you. Scripture tells us in Colossians 3:2, set your minds on things above, not on earthly things, reminding us that focus is not natural, it is chosen. Proverbs 4:25 urges, let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you, because God knows that the moment your eyes drift, your purpose drifts with them. Productivity becomes powerful only when it is rooted in God's will, shaped by His Word, and strengthened by convictions that refuse to bend under pressure. In a world full of noise, distractions, and endless demands, you must decide daily what voice you will follow. Will you follow the voice of culture, convenience, and comfort? Or will you follow the voice of God calling you to discipline, consistency, and purpose? Before you can stay productive, you must first examine your convictions. Are they grounded in Scripture, or are they shaped by emotion and circumstance? Psalm 119:105 says, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Meaning, you cannot walk out God's vision if you are not allowing His word to guide your steps. When your convictions are rooted in truth, your actions become steady, your priorities become clear, and your productivity becomes an act of worship rather than a cycle of striving. Productivity is not about doing more. It is about doing what God actually asked you to do. And you cannot know what He asks if you are not consistently in His presence, listening, reading, and aligning your heart with His. Imagine a person who feels called by God to build something meaningful, a ministry, a business, a book, a healthier lifestyle, or simply a deeper walk with Him. They start with excitement, but excitement is fragile. Soon the distractions creep in. Social media steals their mornings. Comparison steals their confidence. Fatigue steals their motivation, and busyness steals their devotion. The vision God gave them begins to fade, not because it wasn't real, but because they stopped guarding the focus required to carry it. Distraction doesn't destroy your purpose. It delays it until you forget it ever existed. But then something shifts. They realize that if God entrusted them with a vision, they must steward it with intention. They realign their convictions by returning to Scripture, by recommitting to prayer, by choosing discipline over impulse, and by honoring their body and mind as vessels God uses. They begin reading their Bible consistently, not out of obligation, but because they need direction. They start working out and caring for their physical health, not for vanity, but because strength fuels obedience. They take time for themselves, not as an escape, but as a way to maintain the emotional and mental clarity needed to stay faithful. They work on the vision daily, even when motivation is low, because consistency is evidence of conviction. Slowly, productivity becomes more than tasks, it becomes devotion. Discipline becomes more than effort, it becomes obedience. Focus becomes more than a habit, it becomes worship. God is not asking you to be busy, He is asking you to be faithful. He is calling you to guard your focus, protect your time, honor your body, feed your spirit, and build what He told you to build. You cannot fulfill a God-sized vision with a distracted mind. So today, let this devotional challenge your heart. What distractions have been stealing your purpose? What habits have been weakening your convictions? What vision have you allowed to sit dormant? And what would your life look like if you stayed consistent with what God already told you to do? The world will always offer noise, but God offers clarity. The world will always offer distraction, but God offers direction. The world will always offer excuses, but God offers strength. Choose today to stay on task, stay in His Word, stay committed to growth, and stay faithful to the vision He placed in your spirit. May your productivity become a reflection of your devotion, and may your consistency become the evidence that your convictions are rooted in Him. Until our next podcast, stay with God, and He will stay with you.